The day I opened my mother's safe and found a $250,000 disappearance, I stopped pretending family was sacred. My name is Emily Hayes, 31 years old, forensic accountant by trade. I thought numbers gave me peace, that ledgers never lied. But family? Family can dress lies in Sunday clothes and call it duty. It started with an envelope I shouldn't have touched but couldn't ignore. Mom had passed a year earlier, leaving me and my older sister Maya to handle her affairs. We split keepsakes gently. A quilt, a locket, recipe cards faded with cinnamon stains. I believed the money, the retirement savings she worked 3 decades at the library to earn, was untouched in the trust account she swore would keep both of us steady. Last week, a letter arrived at my condo by mistake. Bank of Eastern Soundview, ATTN Trust Services. Inside, a final reconciliation statement for an account ending in 5,917. Balance $4,112.36. It should have been over $250,000. At first, I thought typo. Then I thought fraud. Then I saw the cosigner, Gavin Pierce, Maya's husband. His signature sat bold beneath my mother's, notarized just 6 months before she died. My chest went cold. Gavin had always been charming. Suits pressed too sharp for a small town, the kind of man who shook your hand while already scanning the room for better company. But I never imagined him inside my mother's accounts. I flipped through the reconciliation. Withdrawals in neat $10,000 chunks, transfers to Pierce Holdings LLC. Dates lined up with his Instagram posts, new truck, weekend in Miami, flashy watch collection. Numbers and photos clicked together like two sides of the same trap. I remember sitting on Mom's couch, the same couch where we'd watch Jeopardy every evening, holding paper that said her lifetime of careful saving had been siphoned like a gas tank in the dark. My throat closed. Betrayal isn't loud. It's ink on a line you never signed. That night, I scrolled our family group chat, the one Maya controlled like a little empire. Her message blinked. So grateful Gavin is handling Mom's legacy with such responsibility. We're secure. Dozens of heart emojis trailed behind from cousins and aunts. My phone buzzed with praise for them while I stared at a statement proving security had been sold. I typed, then deleted. He stole from her. My fingers shook. Nobody would believe me without proof, not in a family that loved Gavin's charisma more than my spreadsheets. So I took a photo of the statement, saved it in 3 places, and whispered to myself what I tell every client before trial. Numbers don't lie, people do. I didn't know then how brutal the next months would be. Fights, silence, courtroom air thick with whispers. But I knew one thing. The ledger was mine. And so was the truth. The next evening, I walked into Maya's kitchen with the statement in my bag. She was stirring a pot of chili, humming like life had never held a secret. Gavin leaned against the counter, scrolling his phone. I dropped the envelope on the table. Care to explain why Mom's trust has $4,000 instead of $250,000? Maya froze, spoon midair. Gavin's eyes flicked up, then back down. You're misreading something, he said smoothly. I yanked the statement free, slapped it flat. Account ending 5,917. Withdrawals. Transfers to Pierce Holdings, LLC. That's your company, Gavin, Maya's voice trembled. Emily, lower your tone. You're in my house. In Mom's house, I corrected. The one you didn't buy. The one she left us both to protect. Silence pressed, broken by the simmering pot. Gavin finally looked up, lips curling. You think you understand trust because you balance spreadsheets? Your mother named me cosigner. I invested. Markets shift. I barked a bitter laugh. Invested? Into Miami flights and Rolexes? I can read dates. Maya's face flushed red. Enough. You weren't here when Mom was sick. Gavin was. He handled things while you hid in your apartment. I was working double shifts to pay for her medication when insurance failed. I snapped. Don't you dare rewrite history. The room vibrated with unspoken years. Gavin leaned forward, voice low. Listen, numbers girl. You don't want to dig deeper. Families fracture fast. I'm not fracturing anything, I shot back. You already did, with a pen and a notary. That night, I posted a single message in the family group chat. Question: did anyone know Mom added Gavin as cosigner on her trust account 6 months before she passed? Within minutes, Cousin Deb replied, "That can't be right." Aunt Jean, Maya told us Gavin was helping with bills, nothing more. Maya responded instantly. "This is harassment. Gavin has been protecting us." Emily is confused again. A flood of heart emojis followed, siding with her. I typed, "Attached bank statement. Balance $4,112.36. Withdrawals $250,000 to Pierce Holdings." For one long minute, the chat went dead. Then Uncle Paul, "If this is true?" Maya deleted my message. Seconds later, the group banner flashed, "Emily has been removed from family updates." My phone buzzed with a private text from Maya. "You humiliated us. Don't contact me again." I sat in the dark, watching the chat icon vanish. Betrayal wasn't just Gavin's signature now. It was Maya's silence, Maya's finger pressing remove. I whispered into the empty room, "So that's how it is." And for the first time in my life, I blocked my own sister. I woke to silence that wasn't peace. The family chat icon had vanished. So had the familiar drip of emojis. Without that constant noise, my apartment sounded like a room. I brewed coffee, opened a blank spreadsheet, and typed a title, Ledger, Mom, Pierce Holdings. Columns bloomed as if they'd been there all along. Date, amount, recipient, memo, proof. By 10 a.m., the quiet filled with replacement noise. Emails, subject lines like, "Stop attacking Maya," and "Gavin saved us all." A voicemail from Aunt Jean wept through platitudes. "Be gracious, Emily. Grief makes people generous." I saved it in a folder named Noise. Generous is an odd word for spending a dead woman's savings. At work, James rolled his chair over. "You look like you didn't sleep." "I slept," I said, "just not in a world where I have a sister." He nodded, then lowered his voice. "Town group is buzzing. Maya's friends say you forged the statement." I pulled up the bank portal and the statement image. "Forgery is cute until metadata shows up." "You need an outside witness," he said. "Someone not related." "Working on it." That afternoon, I walked past the library where Mom had shelved returns for 31 years. Mrs. Keene, her old supervisor, spotted me and lifted a hand, then lowered it halfway, unsure which story to believe. Through the glass, a flyer for the Harbor Gala, where Gavin planned to announce an expansion. Someone added glitter to his name. "Family loves shine," Maya posted at 3:18 p.m. "Truth always wins. We're staying positive." The comments performed sympathy. A neighbor added, "Ignore the jealous noise." Beneath it, a cousin wrote, "Emily needs help." They spoke like I wasn't there. I turned my phone face down and cleaned my apartment, drawer by drawer. I found the safe deposit stub Mom kept in a cookbook, the sticky note with a routing number, the postcard Gavin sent from Miami. Making moves for the family. I slid everything into a sleeve. Proof didn't need to shout, it needed to stack. At 6, the doorbell rang. James stood there with takeout and a careful look. "I brought dumplings." "I brought a ledger," I said, leading him to the table. We ate, then he opened his laptop. "You document, I'll mirror." We labeled each file with exact timestamps. For the first time that day, I breathed evenly. Saturday, I tried to attend Mom's memorial bench dedication at the park. Relatives stood like a fence. Aunt Jean stepped forward. "This is for family." "I am family," I said. "Then act like it." She hissed. "Apologize to your sister." "For math?" "For cruelty." I looked at the plaque. Helen Hayes, friend to all readers, and felt something detach. Cruelty is leaving a ledger empty and calling it love. I placed white tulips at the base and walked away to the sound of whispers and shudders. On Sunday, I blocked numbers until my screen was a blackout poem. My phone finally stopped buzzing. The stop was loud. Isolation, I learned, isn't when no one calls. It's when everyone calls and you decide none of it belongs to you. That night, I wrote a single line at the bottom of the spreadsheet. "They think silence will starve me. It's feeding me." Then I added a task list. 1. Request certified statements. 2. Pull corporate filings for Pierce Holdings. 3. Find a reporter. 4. Ask Tom Calder, Mom's neighbor, about bank policies. 5. Prepare questions a judge would ask me. I slept with the lights on and dreamed in columns. Neat. In the dream, numbers stood row on row. like guards. When I woke, the guards were still there, waiting for orders. I didn't want a shouting match. I wanted a record. On Monday, I emailed Rosa Kim, the reporter who covered town council meetings when donors glared. Subject line, story tip, family trust, Shell LLC, $250K. She replied, meet at Harbor Cafe, 12:30. Bring receipts. Rosa arrived with a notebook. I slid the bank statement, the reconciliation, and screenshots of Gavin's posts across the table. She read, pen flicking. Dates line up with withdrawals, she murmured, and Pierce Holdings LLC is here. She tapped the registry. Filed 18 months ago. Single manager, Gavin Pierce. Registered agent, online service. Can you run it? I asked. I can ask questions, she said. I can record with your consent. She angled the camera. Say your name for the record. I did. I told the lens what the ledger told me. The trust account bled out in neat increments. My mother's signature was paired with Gavin's. Maya blocked me the moment I posted proof. When I finished, now we need a neutral witness. Tom Calder lived 2 doors down from Mom, a retired bank manager. He met us on his porch among geraniums. Helen hated risk, he said, voice steady. I can testify she would never authorize speculation. I saw Gavin bringing papers when she was weak. I warned her to let you read them. She said she didn't want to start a fight. Counting breaths. You're pushing now, I said. He signed a short witness statement Rosa drafted. Date, time, address, he initialed each page. By afternoon, rumors outran us. A local Facebook thread bloomed under a photo of Maya handing out gala flyers. Someone wrote, Emily is smearing family for attention. Another, Gavin does more for this town than she ever will. Rosa scrolled, expression flat. Sunlight, she said, isn't free. People squint. We filmed a 2-minute explainer, just timelines and numbers, no adjectives. Rosa narrated over screenshots. My cursor circled dates. At the end, I said one sentence, numbers don't care about feelings. She posted the clip with a caption, developing questions around the Hayes Trust and Pierce Holdings. Documents. The clip didn't explode, it simmered. Enough shares for curiosity, enough pushback for noise. A council member messaged Rosa, is this about the Gala sponsorship? Rosa, it's about a trust. The typing dots blinked, then disappeared. That night I sent requests to the bank for certified statements and to the state for Pierce Holdings filings. I hole punched it and built Ledger C. Each page had a tab, each tab a date. Proof doesn't win by shouting, it wins by staying upright when hands try to shake it. Tuesday, I walked into the library and asked Mrs. Keene if I could post a notice for a free workshop. Understanding powers of attorney. She hesitated, then slid a pushpin across the desk. Your mother would approve, she said. On the way out, I met Uncle Paul by the returns. If you're lying, you'll break this family. If I'm lying, I said, the paper will collapse on its own. I handed him a reconciliation copy and left before his reply could split me. At dusk, the town Facebook thread turned. Under Rosa's clip, Tom commented, I was Helen's neighbor and saw Gavin bring documents when she was ill. I can attest to her conservative habits. Replies piled on, half thanks, half gossip. Then a small blue checkmark appeared. Officer Delaney, APS liaison. If you have documentation, email it. Rosa exhaled. That's your procedural witness, she said. Paper plus process. I spent an hour compiling a packet. Statement, timeline, signatures, the Facebook link, Tom's affidavit. I stripped opinion until the pages were just bone. Dates, amounts, names. I hit send. Minutes later, Delaney replied, received. We will review and coordinate with the bank. My hands shook, not with fear, but with purpose. That purpose drew attention. Maya texted from a new number. Cease your campaign. You're embarrassing us. Gavin posted a black and white photo with a caption, loyalty over clout. Friends chimed in. I didn't answer either. I slid my phone face down and opened the ledger again. One page at a time, the story hardened into something heavier than gossip. If this went nowhere, I could live with my attempt. If it went somewhere, I wanted it to be the truth that carried us, not noise. Public drama had arrived, but so had proof. The email arrived at 8:12 a.m. Subject, account review notice. Jastasawat Pierce Holdings, LLC. Sender, Compliance, Bank of Eastern Soundview. We are conducting a review of transactions linked to the above entity. Please provide supporting documentation within 10 business days. Failure to respond may result in restrictions or account closure. I read it twice. The bank had stepped onto the stage. I forwarded the notice to Rosa and Tom. Rosa answered first. This is the hinge. Don't post it yet. Let's verify timing with the bank. Tom called, voice steady. Compliance notices aren't fireworks, but they light the path. Keep every header. Don't edit PDFs. At 9:03, my phone buzzed again. Maya, stop dragging us. You've turned our grief into spectacle. She attached a photo of Mom's locket. She wouldn't want this. I typed. She wouldn't want to drain trust either. Then deleted it. I sent 2 words instead. Cooperate, Maya. By noon, compliance replied to my earlier inquiry. We acknowledge receipt of your materials. Please refrain from further dissemination that could affect review. In other words, we see you. Let us work. Rosa and I walked the harbor boardwalk. She tucked hair behind her ear, eyes on the water. Bank reviews move slow, weeks, sometimes months. But your timeline is already public, and the gala is in 3 days. He'll take a victory lap, I said. Then time of truth, she said. Not defamation, documentation. Let the bank be the drumbeat. I spent the afternoon drafting a timeline card, withdrawals, transfers, posts, dates in bold, no adjectives. At the bottom, I wrote, pending bank review. I didn't publish. I waited. At 4:26 p.m., another email came from compliance. As a precaution, a temporary hold has been placed on certain outgoing transfers from accounts associated with Pierce Holdings, LLC pending review. I stared at the sentence until it became a lifeline. The faucet wasn't off, but it wasn't wide open either. I called James. Hold placed. He let out a low whistle. Leverage, without shouting. That evening, I printed the notice and slid it into Ledger C. I added a fresh tab, Bank Actions. Paper has a way of calming fire. At dinner time, Gavin posted a black and white selfie in a suit. 3 days until we expand. Grateful for real ones. The comments clapped. Maya hearted it. I watched the hearts stack like a wall built out of denial. Mom's neighbor, Mrs. Doyle, texted me, saw your video. Your mother counted pennies so she could give dollars. Don't let them recast her as careless. I thanked her and filed the message under witnesses. The next morning, Officer Delaney emailed, Receive packet, we have opened an APS inquiry. Please be prepared to provide originals. My hands shook with something cleaner. Procedure, steps. At lunch, I walked past the gala venue. Staff tested lights, unfolded chairs. A banner hung, Harbor Gala, Building Tomorrow. On the sponsor board, Pierce Holdings sat in bold type near the top. I photographed the sign and printed it for Ledger C. That afternoon, my phone rang. An unknown number. This is Morgan with Bank of Eastern Soundview. Compliance looped me in. We'd like a brief call to confirm the documents you referenced. Happy to, I said. I have timestamps and originals. Morgan paused. We cannot discuss another customer's account, but your materials help our review. Understood, I said. I'm not asking for secrets, only procedure. After the call, I drafted a letter for Gavin and Maya. It wasn't a threat. It was a fork in the road. Option A, cooperate with the bank, authorize full release of records, and enter mediation to restore funds to the trust. Option B, proceed with the gala announcement. I will present the timeline and bank notices to sponsors and attendees as documentation of ongoing review. I printed the letter, sealed it, and hand-delivered to their porch. The porch where Mom used to shuck corn and pass lemonade through the screen like peace in glasses. At dusk, Maya texted, You're destroying what's left of this family. I replied, What's left is the truth. Meet me tomorrow at 10 to sign releases. No response. Rosa messaged, I confirmed with bank PR they won't comment. Good, that means your documents speak. Tomorrow I'll film B-roll of the venue. If they boast, you counter with paper. I slept. In my dream, I stood in front of a ledger the size of a door. Each number was a window. Behind some, I saw Mom at the library stamp desk, thumbing dates. Behind others, I saw Gavin at an ATM, face lit blue. When I turned, the boardwalk was full of chairs. 3 days to gala, 10 business days to bank review. The twist wasn't an explosion. It was a clock. The morning of the gala cracked open with seagulls screaming like witnesses no one had paid to attend. My phone buzzed before coffee. Rosa's message. Confirmed, Gavin scheduled to announce expansion initiative tonight. Sponsors expect numbers. Bring Ledger C. I dressed not for glamour, but for war. Navy blazer, sensible shoes, leather satchel, heavy with tabs and certified envelopes. James pulled up outside, car idling. Ready? He asked. As ready as a ledger can be, I said. The harbor center glowed with rented chandeliers and strings of white lights. Inside, the sponsor board shimmered. Pierce Holdings top row, bold as brass. I felt my mother's absence like a hand missing at my elbow. Maya intercepted me near the check-in desk, smile stretched thin. You can't do this here, she hissed. Tonight is for the town, not your vendetta. I opened my satchel just enough for her to glimpse the bank's hold notice, stamped in blue. It's not my vendetta, it's procedure. And procedure is already moving. She paled, then straightened. If you humiliate him tonight, you'll regret it. No, I said evenly. What I'd regret is silence. The ballroom swelled with chatter. Gavin took the stage in a tailored suit, hair slicked back, confidence rehearsed. We stand on the shoulders of visionaries like Helen Hayes, he began, voice amplified. Pierce Holdings is proud to announce... Proud? I cut in, stepping forward. Rosa's camera blinked red from the corner. Conversations froze, forks stilled. Gavin faltered, glare slicing toward me. You've drained a trust meant for community good, I said, voice carrying. And the bank has already confirmed a review with a hold on outgoing transfers. Shall I show the notice? Gas rippled. Gavin tried to laugh. This is slander. She's twisting paperwork she doesn't understand. I lifted Ledger C, spine thick with tabs. Numbers don't care if you laugh. Here are the withdrawals. Here's the LLC filing. Here's the compliance email. I set copies on the sponsor table nearest the stage. Papers spread like feathers from a ripped pillow. One council member leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Rosa zoomed in on the documents. Tom Calder stood, voice steady. I witnessed Helen Hayes refuse risky investments. I witnessed Gavin deliver papers when she was weak. I stand by that. The sponsors shifted uneasily. One of them, a local grocer, whispered, We wrote checks because we thought this trust was clean. Maya tried again. She's weaponizing grief. I faced her. No, you're laundering it. The room stilled, every chandelier crystal catching the heat of the moment. Gavin's jaw tightened. He raised his voice. Even if there was a review, nothing has been proven. Our expansion continues. Then explain this, I said, holding up the photo of the Gala banner with his company name, time-stamped alongside the bank's freeze notice. You sought prestige while the account was under restriction. That's not expansion. That's misrepresentation. Rosa's livestream counter ticked upward. Hundreds of eyes outside the room were now inside it. Gavin's face flushed, his practiced charm cracking. You don't understand business, he snapped. I understand betrayal, I shot back. And I understand arithmetic? He lunged toward the papers, trying to sweep them from the sponsor table, but James blocked him with a single firm hand. Touch those documents, James said, voice low, and you escalate obstruction. Do you want the police here tonight or tomorrow morning? The crowd murmured. Maya tugged Gavin's sleeve, whispering urgently. He froze, chest heaving, eyes darting from me to the sponsors now whispering, calculating their exit strategies. Officer Delaney appeared at the doorway, summoned by Rosa's earlier call. Everything all right here? He asked evenly. I handed him the satchel with remaining originals. This is documentation of misused funds, currently under bank review. Tonight he attempted to deny it publicly while presenting himself as beneficiary of a trust. Delaney nodded, expression unreadable. We'll take statements. The gala never recovered. Sponsors slipped away, murmuring apologies. The chandelier light felt colder, as if it illuminated guilt more than celebration. Gavin stood stranded on stage, mouth open, applause replaced by silence sharp enough to cut. I walked toward the exit, heels tapping a verdict across the marble floor. Maya's voice trailed behind me, ragged. You've ruined us. No, I said without turning back. You ruined yourselves the moment you chose secrecy over truth. Outside, the night air smelled of salt and rain. For the first time in months, my breath came steady. Inside, the ledger lay open on the sponsor table, pages fluttering in the draft from the door. And every flutter sounded like justice calling names in order. The morning after the gala, the harbor looked rinsed clean, gulls skimming the silver water as if nothing had broken. I sat on Mom's porch with a mug that still smelled faintly of her tea. The door behind me no longer belonged to a story I had to protect. It belonged to a truth I had chosen to tell. Maya arrived without knocking. No makeup, hair in a knot, voice sanded down. "Are you happy?" she asked. "No," I said. "But I'm steady." She stared at the porch boards. "Gavin says you ruined him?" "He ruined himself," I answered. "I just held up the mirror." She laughed once, a dull sound. "You always loved mirrors, reflections, audits, ledgers. You think they can love you back?" "No," I said. "I think they keep me honest when people won't." Maya's eyes filmed. "I kept telling myself you'd forgive us if we fixed it before anyone knew." "That wasn't fixing," I said quietly. "That was hiding." She sat, elbows on knees. "What does forgiveness look like to you?" "A boundary," I said. "Shared truth. Restitution. Time." "I can give you time," she whispered. "Start with truth." I slid an envelope across the step. "Bank has the review. APS has the packet. Here's a release authorizing full records. If you sign it, you help Mom even now." She turned the pen as if it weighed too much. "Will you ever forgive me?" "I don't know," I said. "Forgiveness is a door I open for me, not a prize you win. Today I'm not opening it." A long breath floated between us. The town bell struck 10. She signed. The pen clicked like a latch sliding into place. We didn't hug. We didn't pose. She stood. "I'll tell Gavin I'm done covering. Tell him whatever keeps you safe," I said. "My safety is finally mine." After she left, Tom walked up the path with 2 coffees. He handed one to me and nodded toward the envelope. "A good start," he said. "I'm not counting on her," I replied. "I'm counting on process." He smiled. "Process needs courage to walk it. You've done that part." That afternoon, I met Officer Delaney. We reviewed the ledger, the hold notice, Rosa's clip. He took formal statements and outlined next steps. "When people ask if you're pressing charges," he said, "tell them you're pressing facts. The rest will come." I signed my name without shaking. At sunset, I returned to the porch. The mug had cooled. The house creaked, old wood settling around new rules. I thought about forgiveness the way Mom filed books, alphabetical, patient, never rushed. I texted Maya one line. "I hope you choose truth again tomorrow." She replied, "I will try." I set the phone face down. Forgiveness, I realized, wasn't the end of the ledger. It was a note in the margin I could add someday. Today I chose a clean page. The week after the gala felt quieter than any storm's eye. Sponsors withdrew their logos from the Harbor Gala board. The event limped forward, but without the shimmer Gavin promised. Rosa's article ran front page. "Community trust under review. Documents suggest misuse." It wasn't loud, just steady, like a tide that never turns back. I walked Main Street, and people looked differently now. Some with sympathy, others with caution, some with thanks they couldn't quite voice. For the first time, I didn't flinch. I wasn't a rumor's victim. I was its correction. At home, I opened Mom's ledger, the original, with her handwriting looping in neat ink. She had cataloged birthdays, donations, even the serial numbers of the bills she kept in an envelope marked "Church Bake Sale." Each entry was love made visible. I added one more note in my hand. Audit completed, truth in progress. That Saturday, Tom invited me for coffee. We sat on his porch as kids biked past, shouting, wheels humming. "You know," he said, "in banking, we always said records outlive excuses. Tonight you proved that in public." I nodded. "I didn't set out for revenge," I told him. "I set out for air I could breathe." Maya texted only once more. I signed the second release. "The bank has everything. I don't know if I'll ever see you again, but thank you for saving Mom's name." I stared at the message a long time before replying, "Truth saves itself when someone carries it." Then I deleted the thread. As for Gavin, the last I heard, he hired a lawyer. Rosa said he called the review a misunderstanding. But the freeze remained, the APS inquiry remained, and the sponsors remembered the silence after my words cut across the ballroom. His empire was no longer reputation-proof. One evening, I walked the boardwalk where the gala banners had fluttered. The chairs were gone, the chandeliers packed, only salt air left. I let the wind press against me like a hand saying go. For months, I had carried weight heavier than numbers. Now, it felt lighter. Not gone, but carried on my terms. At the library, I signed up to lead a free workshop, Understanding Powers of Attorney. Mrs. Keene smiled as she wrote my name on the board. "Your mother would be proud," she said. I believed her. That night, I lit a single candle on the porch, the way Mom used to when she balanced her checkbook at the table. I whispered aloud, "I chose to fight. I chose the ledger over silence. I chose me." The flame flickered in agreement. What would you do if it were your family ledger on the line? Drop your story and subscribe Big Sister Revenge Stories.